ठीक है, so clap देते हैं एक बार.
That's your signature. ये पूरा 5 मिनट आपका है. This is your time. I have seen your videos. You've been so much inspiring and for all youth and young generations out there. आप TEDx में आए हैं. आपने काफ़ी HR पे और आप HR to my heart channel चलाते हैं, which is like close to the heart of HRs and especially humans, because this is not a very easy resource handling. Human resource is a very tough resource handling, right?
True.
So tell me about your journey, your passion, why you become HR, and what is your success story अगर आपकी पूरी life में. Over to you, Vikas.
Sure. Great, Diksha. Thanks so much for inviting me firstly. I think it's an honor for me as well. And frankly, the first time I saw one of your videos, I was blown away. I really liked the look and feel. And more importantly, I think the mission that you are on. So I resonated with that, and that's the only reason I'm here today. And as far as being face-to-face is concerned, well, I prefer it too. And unfortunately, last 12 months, you know what has happened. And the first opportunity I got, I just grabbed it.
Super. तो विकास ये तो हमने बात कर ली कि कम से कम घर से बाहर निकलने का मौका मिलता है, राइट? बट यहाँ पे when I talk about your life, so विकास आपकी लाइफ में एज अ चाइल्डहुड और आज आप बहुत दिग्गज लीडर हो, HR में एक नाम हो, राइट? एंड you're being into TEDx. ना होता है to be on TED show or maybe run your own show, right? So how that happened? What is the passion? What is the love behind HR? वो क्यों कैसे आया आपकी लाइफ में? तो आप थोड़ा उसमें हमें जर्नी में ले जाइए आपके childhood to your college, and how was you as a person, which a lot of people wanted to know before marriage. But still, like, what is your love behind HR? Over to you, Vikas.
Sure. Happy to answer that, and I think you asked a very interesting question. I can take the entire day to answer it honestly.
Go ahead.
But let me begin by sharing that I'm a very unique combination of both Bombay and Delhi. So that's really who I am. Okay, so my schooling was all in Bombay, younger years, all the way till my college. I grew up in this nice suburb of Bombay called Bandra, if you heard of it.
Yes.
So Bandra boy at heart. In fact, used to stay not very far away from where Shah Rukh Khan's lovely house Mannat is. So those have been some fantastic growing up years with the sea in the front and a lovely bustling city of Bombay. And work, in fact, campus placement got me to Delhi where I started working. And then marriage happened, more work happened, 2 kids happened, and it's been a great journey of exploring and becoming a Delhiite also.
Okay.
In fact, I discovered some of my latest passions, which are HR, of course, and even running, both in Delhi. So those are some, you can say, maybe in the last 10, 15 years that have really shaped up. And that's what makes Vikas Vikas today. And when it comes to HR in my heart, which you spoke about, yeah, clearly I got into HR at some point in life. It became my calling, passion, and now through social media, I'm attracting more people, like-minded people. In fact, you're one of them. And it's great to have the ability to collaborate with so many people who have a single mission of taking everyone along together. I think that's the beauty of HR. Like you said, it's a challenging task, but at the same time, very, very interesting if you really think about others more than you think about yourself.
Wonderful. Great to know that. But आपने एक चीज़ का आंसर नहीं. It was just your life. मतलब आपके अंदर वो कैसे आया? See, you have this life child से आपने बताया you're a Bandra boy and lovely, amazing. But then how this happened कि मेरे को ये दिशा मिल गई है अपनी लाइफ में, मैं HR करूँगा. तो ये जो मन के अंदर था कि मैं लोगों के लिए करूँगा. Very few people have this. Honestly speaking, you have जब आप यंग होते तो आपको होता है देश की मिट्टी के लिए कुछ काम करते हैं. मैं इसमें बताऊँ I did it, but मेरे को छोटी हाइट देख के रिजेक्ट मार दिया. तो मैं बोला चलो कुछ और रास्ते से करते हैं. Right? That happened with me. But then how this HR pinched you inside कि मेरे को ये करना है. ये कब आया आपकी लाइफ?
I think it happened more by default than by design, Disha, to be honest.
Okay.
Somewhere I would credit my parents for it because I've always seen them as being very people friendly. My father, before he passed away, was engineer from IIT Delhi, but toward the later half of his career, he became a Reiki Grandmaster, having traveled all over the world, teaching and including people in the movement of Reiki. And I think I was always used to seeing a lot of people at home coming for assistance, for guidance, and he would always take out time to support them. And I think somewhere subconsciously maybe that just seeped into me. And when I started working, interestingly in my MBA, you will not believe, I did my specialization in marketing and finance.
Yeah.
And ended up working in HR. So that's why I say it's by default more than design. But when I got into working in the workplace, and that to an industry like the B2 industry, which when I joined it way back in 2006, was hiring by the cartloads, by the truckloads every month. I realized that it was a great way to help people get jobs, build careers. I've seen cases personally where young kids have taken their family up the social ladder by just getting into a good BPO organization and getting a salaried job. I've seen kids actually take their families out of poverty. Their parents coming to a city like Delhi, Mumbai for the first time ever and seeing all those huge skyscrapers and the look in their eyes. So those are some of the things that I think somewhere just hit me deep inside my heart and made that whole resolve even stronger and more long lasting.
Long lasting, फेविकॉल का जोर है, टूटेगा नहीं.
That weighed on my heart.
Super. Okay विकास, तो आपने बताया तो बैंगलोर बॉय से, तो आप मुंबई या भाषा कितना जानते हैं?
Oh, don't ask me about that. That's a difficult one. In fact, interestingly, Mumbai being such a cosmopolitan city, English was a primary language, honestly speaking. Marathi I had as a subject in school, but वो exam pass करने तक. उसके ज़्यादा उससे आगे मैं जा ही नहीं पाया. और when it came to Hindi also, I was struggling actually, to be honest, because Mumbai में सब लोग English में काम चल जाता था. And when I came to work in Delhi, and then I realized that Hindi is really the primary language. And that's when I got a little bit more comfortable and started interacting more. Though of course in corporate India, still to a large extent, you'll agree that it's still English which rules, right? But Mumbai, if you ask me, I mean, vada pavs, the RA milk, the local trains, I've done it all and I love it.
What's your favorite?
Vada pav.
Okay, cool,
अभी भी कोई बॉम्बे से आता है तो I have to get some vada pav.
Super. We'll go Mumbai and eat vada pav. Yeah. That's important. Super. Okay, तो marine drive आप गए हो?
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course. Okay, अकेले गए थे हम? आप post Okay, super. Okay, great. So विकास बताइए कि आपका ये जो आपने बताया पैशन है HeaRt में, आपको उधर पिंच किया, आपने फिर टुवर्ड्स HR किया, तो आपकी HR की जर्नी में कुछ ऐसा मोमेंट जहाँ आपको लगा यार अभी काफी कुछ सीखना बाकी है, वो मोमेंट अगर आपकी लाइफ में है तो प्लीज डू शेयर.
Sure. So again, interestingly, early on in my career, ऐसा हुआ Diksha कि I had to suddenly hire for an international location sitting out of India. Business in the BPO industry was going so fast. We were getting business left, right, and center. And suddenly we had a brand new setup in, of all places you won't believe, Brazil and Mexico. And I'm sitting out of here, New Delhi. Suddenly my boss calls me and says that we've won a new deal and आपको इसको operationalize करना है. There is nothing there except one resource जो आपको यहाँ से इसको coordinate करना है. And when you look and think back about that period, I mean the first thing that comes to mind is that person didn't even know English fluently, and I obviously didn't know the language he spoke, which was Spanish. And starting to interact in that, वहीं से शुरू हो गया challenge, and realized कि ये तो बहुत कुछ करना. And then luckily organization was very supportive, had it more people to support, managed to send a recruiter there on site यहाँ से, so थोड़ा वो communication angle sort out हुआ. And interestingly, that period was one which is most transformative for me if I share it, because when you are in an organization, frankly speaking, your local responsibilities don't go away. So my day job was India hiring, and my night job was hiring for Latin America, because that was exactly about 12 hours a day.
Are you managing both?
So managed it, somehow survived, but great learning experience. And it also showed me, to answer your question, कि there is so much more, because every country, every region has its own nuances of hiring. अब अगर इंडिया में भी देखो, so there are different dynamics which play out. And luckily for our nation, I think now we are seeing a point where there is growth happening across all regions. Like earlier ये था कि सबको फिर या तो बॉम्बे, बैंगलोर, दिल्ली आना पड़ता था. But now luckily there are other tier 2, tier 3 cities also growing, Indore for example. And candidates are able to get jobs closer to their home, which is great, right? हमारी मेट्रोस का हाल तो जानते हो.
That's true, absolutely great. So आपने एक बात बताया, जैसे मैंने काफ़ी HRs के जब इंटरव्यू लिया तो उन्होंने बोला कि काफ़ी शहरों में अभी भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की कमी है. If we talk especially about HRs, right? So आपके राय में क्या है? Is like how to find it? Say for example, I'm very like backward village में आया and I still want to become an HR. So what should the steps I should follow if you want to take it on?
So I think first and foremost, Disha, in our country, qualification does count. I mean, we say skills are important and skills are getting important. There's no denying that. But a basic minimum qualification तो आपको ले लेनी चाहिए, which is a graduation in the case if you want to get into HR space.
Correct.
And then I would recommend that if your dream is actually to work with a large company, a well-known, reputed brand name, it may not be the first stage or step that you take. You can take a small step by working with a smaller organization like a recruitment firm, consultancy, थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस लेके, थोड़ा नॉलेज लेके, and then try and move to a larger organization. Because today when I said that tier 2 and all is growing, the advantage is also that again thanks to last year we realized कि remote work हो सकता है. You don't need to be sitting in a metro, you don't need to be sitting in the office in front of the boss to show that you're working. Managers have also become slightly more accommodating, technology supports. So increasingly I see corporate India also accepting that reality. In fact, that will be the best scenario for our country if you ask me honestly, because the manpower will get distributed, people will start getting a better work-life balance, and I can only visualize that will be a very good thing for everyone.
ओके, तो हमें कोविड ने कुछ चीज़ें अच्छी सिखा दी कि आप घर पे रहिए, फिट रहिए, you don't have to travel, you cut down your 2 hours going Delhi to Gurgaon and back to like Delhi. I think that is important.
Correct.
But one point I would like to आपका impact उस पे डालना चाह रही हूँ मैं, where lot of people say कि जैसे आपको पता है, आपने 10 दिया, आपने बहुत कुछ दिया, and you keep on making a lot of videos which is like 3 things for strategies, 3 things for this, and you do a lot of that, and I completely see all the videos. So you emphasize on communication, you emphasize on well articulate करके आप सामने रखो उस point को. तो अगर कोई छोटे विलेज से कोई बंदा आता है, वो उसे पता है मेरे को encyclopedia पढ़नी है, मुझे Oxford पढ़ना है, मेरे को translator रखना है, lot of stuff, I'm still learning it. But then where that person should apply. मतलब अगर लोग बोलते हैं मिरर में देखो, पर क्या ये सही है? नहीं. जब उस बंदे को 10 लोगों के सामने खड़े होकर बोलना पड़ता है, उसकी is completely like nowhere. I don't know, मेरे को तो ये सिखाया था, right? So how you think like on the internet and complete on the books or in the books, right? There are a lot of media where people talk about like you do this, you do that, but in the real life when we talk about ground zero, nothing is happening.
Correct.
Probably 10%. So what's your take? You are into the industry, you're a great, great communicator, you're a great public speaker. So what's your take? How should a person, not public speaking, but वो एक अच्छा वक्ता कैसे बने? Over to you.
Correct. So Diksha, in this, now my only guidance is something that again I have learned from the youth myself, which is if you look at any of the famous or these well-known dance shows or singing talent shows which are on all our channels nowadays, have you noticed how some of these young kids have come from the smallest and remotest of villages and towns in the hills somewhere, and they're able to go on and not only participate but even win these competitions?
Yes.
How have they managed it? उनके पास तो ना वर्ल्ड क्लास रिसोर्सेज हैं, ना टीचर्स हैं, ना गुरुज हैं, एंड मोर ऑफन देन नॉट मैंने देखा है कि ये यूट्यूब से जाके सब सीख रहे हैं. एंड अगर आप यूट्यूब से यू कैन लर्न समथिंग एज इंट्रिकेट एज पॉपिंग एंड लॉकिंग, देन आई थिंक टॉकिंग एंड कन्वर्सिंग शुड बी मच इजियर, यू नो. बट उसके लिए एक डेडिकेशन चाहिए, एक फोकस चाहिए, एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए कि हाँ मुझे करना है, दिस इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी एरिया, एंड उसके लिए देन गेट इनटू इट, बिकॉज आजकल थैंक्स टू इंटरनेट सब कुछ फ्री अवेलेबल है. India has some of the lowest data rates in the world. The other thing I recommend is in such a journey always, Disha, is that एक क्या कहते हैं ना, learning buddy अपने साथ बना लो. If there are 2 of you working together towards a goal, एक वो feedback and वो joint learning भी हो जाती है. And then one can keep correcting the other, one can keep supporting the other when one is feeling low. That works out really well. कॉलेज में फॉर एग्जांपल प्लेसमेंट्स में हम लोग यही करते थे कि अपना एक बेस्ट फ्रेंड के साथ नोट्स एक्सचेंज करना, डिस्कस करना, ग्रुप डिस्कशन का मॉक कर लेना, वही टेक्निक्स थोड़े अप्लाई कर लेना पड़ेंगे.
Okay, people who don't have anybody who is learning, like mom dad को इंग्लिश आती नहीं, mom dad आपको सपोर्ट नहीं करते, उस टाइम पे एक अकेला बंदा अपने आप को प्रोत्साहित कैसे करे और ऊपर कैसे बढ़े और कैसे सीखे? Over to you.
So इसमें I would only recommend that again try and leverage some YouTube online videos, try and repeat, follow what the speaker is saying, record it back onto your mobile phone, listen to yourself, are you sounding similar? In fact, Diksha, we're happy to share that आजकल technology has made such a huge advancement that you have even applications which you can record your voice in, and they will evaluate your voice and give you feedback. Which words have you made a mistake in, how you should pronounce them. So these are not very expensive. One can actually subscribe to them, use them on an ongoing basis. They are called speech tools basically, and that can really help you in improving your communication skills.
Okay, so this way you can do it. और उस टाइम का क्या करें, जैसे आप HR हो तो आपने देखा होगा बहुत लोग जब इंटरव्यू देते हैं तो वो लोग बहुत परेशान होते हैं. They have the fear. जैसे स्टेज का fear होता है, वैसे इंटरव्यू का भी fear होता है, चाहे आप 40 years के या 60 हो, होता है. इस fear को हम लोग कैसे निकालें? Though I'm great in communication, but the moment I'm sitting with a person and that person is taking my interview, I feel a little bit of fear. So उस time पे how you work on your fears and elevating those fears? Over to you.
So Diksha, I think more than that particular moment, I think you have to prepare for that moment. So that pre-investment of time and effort for that 15-minute interview is very, very important. Right? Now, what do I recommend there very clearly is that, in fact, I run a newsletter where I share my thoughts and they're available to all students. It's a placement preparation guide in a sense. Just think about it logically as any individual who's not connected to the world of recruitment also. At the end of the day, आपको interviewer क्या पूछेगा? We'll ask you about your self, which is the number one. We'll ask you about your academic background, your interests. If you have worked before, we'll ask you about your prior work experience. We'll ask you some questions about the future, what you aspire to become and so on. We'll ask you about, what changes or what achievements have you managed in life so far. So at the end of the day, अगर आप seriously सोचो और बनाओ एक list, 100-120 questions में पूरा आपका preparation हो जाएगा. So if you go with that preparation in your mind, 90% of the questions that the interviewer will throw at you, you will handle easily.
Okay.
And pretty much in my newsletter, I've tried to throw this view to the student community only. There is nothing to be nervous about. The kind of job you're capable of or suitable for will eventually come your way.
Okay.
If not now, 6 months later.
Yes. Again, one question which is really सटीक, सीधा और बेबाक. The question is, बहुत लोग जैसे I pass out from BITS, Pilani, Amity, तो जब placement होता है ना, तो लोग बोलते हैं ये set of questions है, ठीक है, मेरे को पता है, मेरे को myself बोलना है, तो they do a ratification. My name is Diksha Deo, I study in this, I do this with a different tune. All 10 बच्चे different tune. So they do this. So what, as a great HR recruiter, आपके उसमें क्या है कि कितना आप दिल से बोलो. Though you are good in communication, not good in communication, you don't know vocab, you know vocab, doesn't matter, but कितना ज़रूरी है. अगर विकास दुआ ने मुझसे पूछा, दीक्षा tell me about yourself, I should tell about myself, not about my मामा, नानी, दादी, चाची, right? वो कितना ज़रूरी है और ये हम कहाँ से information की प्राप्ति करें? So, over to you.
So इसमें ना my tip really for students is कि try and present a unique view to yourself. 90% of the time आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो, वो अपने ratification वाले आंसर को फिर से बोल देते हैं. एंड उस आंसर में और कुछ नहीं बताते, बट जो सीवी में ऑलरेडी दिया हुआ है कि मैंने कहाँ से 10th किया, कहाँ से 12th किया, क्या परसेंटेज आए, मेरी इंटरेस्ट क्या है, एंड वहीं द इंटरव्यूअर विल स्विच ऑफ. So try and create a twist in it. Treat the interviewer like someone that you're just meeting over a cup of coffee who wants to just know how you are doing or what you are about. Maybe someone you met at a coffee shop. Because invariably if someone, let's say a chacha, mami, someone comes or someone's relative, extended relative comes and asks you, बेटा आप क्या कर रहे हो, आप कुछ बताओगे, वो ही आपको थोड़ा प्रोफेशनल वे में बताना. So don't try and keep it in that standard in college given template, because that's where then introverts also realize that this is a mugged up answer, I really don't gain anything from it, and they'll try and of course change tracks and ask something else then. But the moment you create a, like you rightly said, a very frank, genuine answer, even if it is not very fancy in words and terminology, it will make an impact.
Wonderful. So be very honest और अपने सच्चाई के answers को आगे प्रकट करें rather than ratification or mugging things up. Wonderful sir. अब यहीं से बहुत सीधा question, like I have people who are asking me constantly. So if and ये आप professional skill है, तो उसने पार किया. Say for example हम Mr. X की बात कर रहे हैं, X ने college से आपको interview दिया, आपने pass कर लिया. Now that person has an experience of 10 years in HR. After 10 years, he want to move in a ladder of CHR. कि okay, I aspire myself as the next CHR of the world or probably of this region, right? At that point of time, वो उस particular को कैसे पार करे? क्या मतलब अगर मैं population की बात करूँ, if there are 10,000 people who are HR, how many people are everybody aspire for being a CHR? कितने लोग बन पाते हैं? Question number one. Second question, if I really want to crack that up, what should I do? Over to you.
Lovely. So by design, corporates are a pyramid. That's a fact. There'll be one CHRO at the top. There may be 10 to 15 direct reports that he has in a large company. So that ratio by itself is 1 out of 100 if you really look at the whole function, or even lesser. Right? So it really takes immense, I would say, planning, strategic thinking, focus, and forward-looking approach to become a CHRO. And in today's world, more often than not, what I think business leaders, company boards are looking at from an CHRO is someone who has a very strong, not only people focus but also business focus, who understands the business from inside out. So it's not only important to just look at the HR angle of it and be familiar with policies, procedures, how to regulate, but really understand how the entire mechanics of that impact the business bottom line. And therefore, to that extent, till a few years ago, HR was considered a support function. But today, again, maybe I'm being repetitive, but thanks to COVID, the CHR was the first person the CEO called.
Absolutely.
Office बंद करना है, lockdown announce हो गया है, अब office खोलना है, it has been opened, how do we get the employees back? All of those questions came up. So anyone aspiring to be a CHRO will need to go beyond HR, need to understand finance, operations, marketing, holistically for the environment. Also needs to extend his or her brand outside of the organization also. Because again, today a personal brand has become very, very important. So just being known as a so-called HR cook, smart cookie in your organization, not enough.
Yes.
You need to be seen as much more beyond.
So last question to you, Vikas. What is your success sauce? वो क्या है? मतलब अगर हम बात करें कि विकास आज अपनी लाइफ में इतनी उन्नति कर रखे, इतना विकास आपने खुद की लाइफ में किया, आपने अपने नाम को पूरी तरीके से जस्टिफाई किया. So how that happened with you? Like, what is your, जो जैसे 3 Idiots में होता है ना, all is well, they keep on saying all is well. What is your 3 words, probably a line, a quote that constantly motivated you or inspired you for your journey? What's that?
So first of all, Diksha, I think you've been too kind. I don't know about Unnati and kitna vikas kiya hai. I still feel there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, you're so humble.
No, in fact, it's just, I frankly don't create a measuring grade or try to rate myself on an ongoing basis. But yes, I do feel and like to have a sense of fulfillment every time, right? In terms of what really motivates me, I think there's a line which I read way back in my college days, in my B school days, which stayed with me. I kind of lived by that. It's like, why walk when you can run? So, in a sense, it says a lot that I don't really like to chill and just relax and not do anything. It doesn't help me. That doesn't mean that I'm a workaholic, but yes, it should help in my growth at some level at least, in the sense either professionally or spiritually or mentally or physically. So at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I like to have the feeling that wow, मैंने कुछ worthwhile किया. I didn't while away my time or I didn't just kind of laze around. That somewhat doesn't excite me.
Okay, wonderful. अच्छा, आपको देख के ना एक और question आता है, बस last question. आप इतने fit हो, right? And in this particular people say कि यार young हो ना तो fit होते हैं, otherwise आपको क्या लेना देना, right? But apart from these jokes, what is very important, you have to be with जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं कि health is wealth. लोग नहीं समझते, लोग junk foods खा रहे हैं, कैलोरीज पे ध्यान नहीं दे रहे और लैपटॉप पे आप पूरे दिन काम करते हो, डोंट फील कि आपका स्पाइन खराब हो जाएगा, आपकी आंखें खराब हो जाएगी. तो हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज दैट टू स्टे फिट डिस्पाइट इन कोविड, ऑफ कोर्स कोविड में रह के, पर अपने आप को मूव करना कितना ज़रूरी है, और एज अ वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल घर में रह के हम एक फिट एनवायरनमेंट कैसे बनाएं अपने लिए और अपने परिवार के लिए, वो चीज़.
Diksha, again, topic I'm very passionate about. The thing I realized from personal experience, because there was a time where I, maybe because of work pressure or whatever, didn't really focus too much on health, and I could realize that it does impact you at other levels also, your other wellness dimensions, जो कहते हैं हम कि mental wellness or just productivity, for example. And I realized that the moment I'm fitter, I'm able to invest more time and energy into whatever I'm doing and get better results. So I advocate it all the time to everyone. How to do it? I mean, you make the most of what is available to you. Lockdown में ना हम कहीं जा पा रहे थे, ना gyms, ना कुछ. And if you ask me personally, me and my wife, we were exercising in the little space between our bed and the television. With the help of, again, an app. You have enough lovely workout apps nowadays which are available. You just have to follow what the guides are doing, and we made the most of it. So I think whether it is using some kind of bags to do weights, or doing push-ups on your own for which you really need nothing. You can use chairs like this for some exercises. So if you have the will, you can really innovate and make it happen. And again, When in doubt, go to YouTube.
So I think आपके पूरे डिस्कशन में दो बातें जो हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण है जानने की, एज अ पार्ट ऑफ लर्निंग विल इज इम्पोर्टेंट किसी भी काम में, बीट फिटनेस, बीट बिकमिंग अ प्रोफेशनल, बीट लर्निंग इंग्लिश फ्रॉम यूट्यूब, सो दैट इज ऑल्सो विल. और आई थिंक एक अच्छा इंसान बनना और कंपैशनेट होने के लिए भी विल चाहिए.
Of course.
सबके लिए विल चाहिए.
And discipline.
Discipline, perfect. Perseverance will हमेशा चाहिए. What is the mission towards HR to my heart? What's that mission?
So HR in my heart is actually, I noticed on LinkedIn and these platforms that everyone had their own hashtag, right? It was either Suresh writes or Manish talks or whatever. And I said, let me create one holistic one which anyone who believes in the philosophy can use. So it really started from there. And then over time I realized that people have really appreciated it. So in fact I've tried to put it on a t-shirt. If you want, go ahead and wear it. I don't own it. It's like everyone's thought, right? I mean, whoever believes in HR can own it. And now my book is coming out, which is HR in my heart.
I know. And congratulations for the book. I hope क्या final decide किया आपने? The black and gold. Perfect.
I don't know because then that changes the dynamics of printing and all, right?
But so black is there.
Black is there.
Perfect. I'm in.
I saw that.
Super.
काफी लोगों ने support.
हाँ जी, yeah, people supported like black. Okay, last thing, because I saw you like you're very energetic and क्या बोलते हैं बिंदास पर्सन. सो बिकॉज आपने हमें बहुत सारी बातें बताया, हमने एग्जैक्ट सटीक चीज़ आपसे सीखी और आपने उसका उत्तर दिया, हाउ टू डू एंड हाउ टू बिकम बेस्ट. Will is important that we have, all the listeners should have that will. कुछ भी करने के लिए, फिटनेस, हेल्थ, आप प्रोफेशनल बनो, कुछ भी बनो, एक अच्छा इंसान बनो, विल पावर इज इम्पोर्टेंट. कुडोस टू यू. Now moving to the last thing, वो सीक्रेट सॉस क्या है आपके लिए, कि कुछ ऐसा लाइन हो जिसने आपको एकदम अंदर से हिला दिया हो, because you said they are movies freak. So over to you, Vikas.
Sure. So एक मूवी थी जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा. I'm sure you would have seen it.
Yeah.
तो उसमें एक लाइन है, इंसान का कर्तव्य होता है सिर्फ कोशिश करना, कामयाबी नाकामयाबी सब ऊपर वाले के हाथ में. That's the dialogue that I keep in mind.
Wonderful, great. That moved you, that changed you, and keep on motivating you. Great, good job. So thank you so much, Vikas, for being so great sport and so great leader who always inspire. आपकी videos inspire करती है. Keep on doing this HR in my heart, especially HR in my heart. That makes true, and I'm always supporting you. Your
Thank
mission.
You so much.
It's lovely. So thanks for being a great support.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Enjoyed thoroughly, Diksha. Thanks.
100%.